Hello students, let's discuss I/O interfacing. That means how to connect input-output devices to the processor. So there are two schemes for I/O interfacing. One is memory mapped I/O. So in this scheme, I/O device is also treated as a memory location. It is accessed by the processor as if it was accessing a memory location. Okay, so here to access this IO devices, processor uses same memory accessing instructions like move. So what is the disadvantage of this kind of memory mapped IO is like some addresses you need to reserve for input output device, isn't it? Because some input output devices are connected, then that many number of addresses are to be reserved for IO devices which cannot be used for memory. Okay, so there will be a shortage of some amount of memory space. Okay, so that is the disadvantage of memory mapped IO. Then next scheme is IO mapped IO. So in this case, IO device is treated as the IO device. Okay, so it is accessed with the instructions in and out. So this is what this scheme we will discuss further. Okay, so here to access these input output devices, the IO space is like it can have addresses from 0000H to FFFFH. Even though processor has got 20-bit address, but we use only 16-bit address is used for uh, accessing input output device. So total IO space is only 64K. That means 64K devices can be connected to the processor, which is practically this much is this itself is more. Okay, so any port can have 8-bit port address. Port means the pins where you are connecting input output devices. So this port address can be 8-bit or 16-bit. You know, when you studied in and out instructions, if the port address is 8-bit, then you can specify the address in the instruction itself. If the port is 16, address is 16-bit, then this address must be there in DX register. Then we can use that in the in or out instruction. Okay, so the port address can be 8-bit or 16-bit. Also, the data bus can be 8-bit or 16-bit. So address can be 8-bit or 16-bit. In the same way, data at each port. Okay, so the data bus of the port, it can be 8-bit or 16-bit. Okay, so any port can have, let us first discuss output port. First, let's see output port. So output port use the instruction out for writing into it. To write data to output device, the port uses, we need to use the instruction out. Okay, so when out instruction is executed, the data in AL, or we know this, we studied already out instruction, data which is present in AL or AX register gets written into the output device. So depending on the data bus is 8-bit or 16-bit, we use AL or AX register. So the data from the processor sent to the output port during IO write cycle, right, machine cycle, isn't it? To when out instruction is executed, the machine cycle which is performed is IO write machine cycle. Okay, so data will be available on the data lines until the end of the machine cycle. But for the output port to be able to use this data, it must be latched. For the output port must be able to use this data because the processor speed is very high. Like it just in one machine cycle, for only one machine cycle, the data will be available at the output port. Okay, so there is a need of a latch. Whenever you connect a output device at the output side, you need a latch to hold the data for the output port. So we'll see how this, even in case of memory, these are present, like this latches and tri-state buffers are present, but they are internal to the chip. Here in the port there is no latch, internally is not present, you need to connect it. Okay, so let's see the basic connection, how output device is connected to the processor. So if suppose this is an output port or device, so to this there must be a latch in between the data bus of the processor. This is the system data bus. Okay, so this can be D0 to D7 or D0 to D15 can be connected here depending on the output port is 8-bit or 16-bit. Okay, so system data bus is connected to the latch, and from from latch output is connected to the output port. Okay, then this must be addressed. This will have an enable. Okay, enable input. So this latch must be enabled so that the data is available on the output for the output port. So to decode, to select this particular output port, you'll have one address. You have to select one address and that address must be decoded. So here, as in the case of memory, here also you need a address decoder. So to this address decoder, input is the address bus, system address bus. Here again it is A0 to A7 or A0 to A15, depends on the address which you have selected, 8-bit address or 16-bit address. Then the output, select output of this address decoder, and control signal IO write bar. This control signal must be low to write something to output port. So these two are decoded again using a NOR gate, and this is used to enable this latch chip. Okay, so when the select output is low and this is low, then the output of this NOR gate will be high, which will select this particular latch, so that whatever data is available on the data bus will be latched so that it is sent to the output available for the output device. Okay, so here to send data to output device, what the processor has to do, it places the address on the address, the output device address on the address bus, sends, and data it places on the data bus, sends a control signal IO write, so that this IO write signal is the address is decoded to enable the latch. Once the latch is enabled, the data which is present on the data bus will be available on the output port. Okay, so this is what happens with the output port. In the same way, in case of input, now let's discuss input port, how the input port is accessed. Okay, so input port, to read data from the input device, the instruction used is in. So again here the input port address can be 8-bit or 16 bit, and the data can be 8 bit or 16 bit. So to read the data from the input port, in instruction is used and data is received into the processor in AL or AX register. Okay. Now input port requires tri-state buffers. An input port requires a tri-state buffer along with it to ensure that it is isolated from the system. It is isolated from the bus when it is not selected. So we'll see. Let us suppose input can be a simple switch or alphanumeric keyboard. So input port or input device. So in between this you cannot directly connect the data bus to input device. You need a tri-state buffer here. Okay. So input data bus is connected to this tri-state buffer, and from the tri-state buffer it is connected to system data bus. Okay. This tri-state buffer will have enable input. So here again the address is to be decoded. The address decoder to which the system address bus is connected. That means these lines come from the processor. System address bus only A0 to A15, A0 to A7 or A0 to A15. Depends what address you select for the device. Then this select input from the address decoder, and here IO read bar IO read bar control signal. These two are decoded to enable. Here inverter is not required because this is active low. This is low and this is low. So output of the OR gate will be low. And this tri-state buffer is selected. Okay. So in case of when in instruction is executed, the processor will place the address of the input device on the address bus and data will not be available. It is read. First the tri-state buffer must be enabled to read. So address is placed on the address bus and IO read signal is sent. Both are decoded to select the tri-state buffer. Once the tri-state buffer is selected, whatever is there at the input of this tri-state buffer will be placed on the data bus, which can be sent to the processor, which is received by the processor and read to either AL register or AX register. Okay, so why tri-state buffers? Always input device, if you directly connect it to the system bus, whatever input is there here, that will be available on the data bus always. So that is not required. So these tri-state buffers, only when they are enabled, these two are connected. When this is disabled, like it is like this whole thing is disconnected from the system. So the output whatever is there from this tri-state buffers, these lines will be in high impedance state, so that they are not available on the data bus. Nothing will be, it's like disconnecting the data bus from the buffer, tri-state buffer or input device. Only when it is required, the processor needs to, the data from the input device must be available on the data bus, not always. So to isolate this data from the system bus, these tri-state buffers are used. Okay, so this is how the input output ports are connected. Okay.